Welcome. Welcome home, everyone. My name is Melissa, and I will be your super groovy channeling multidimensional cosmic tour guide today. Thank you all for the likes and shares and subscribes. Thank you for the questions as well. We're going to channel Elvis Presley today, and this is unexpected. I wasn't really into that today as I'm in my yurt away from home. I was feeling Elvis energy, and he was saying a few things that surprised me or kind of bothered me a little bit. So I will give him the floor. And he says, we have all been working on the cosmic heart opening up in you, me, all of us in the universe. So the cosmic heart would be the universal heart, right? And he says, this is of utmost importance in consciousness, and the many templates are being cleansed and cleared and realigned and realigned and realigned and realigned. So archetypes, templates, belief systems cleared and realigned into divine order and divine balance. And he's saying, I just want to tell you that I am in a frequency of energy where I can be the speaker. All of us who's ever been channeled before are in frequencies, different frequencies. And he says, I just want you to know we're not trying to be perfect. We were not perfect when we were alive. In fact, I would like to tell you that one of my main purposes in my afterlife journey, as well as my evolution in spirit, in myself, in his, what he's calling sacred union. And that's a word that I use. And that means sacred union is the yin yang balance in yourself. And that comes way before we find divine counterparts or we're perfect or anything like that. That union in ourselves is the divine masculine and feminine, or the light and the dark, or the yin and the yang inside of us. We've all been distorted, he's saying. And I just want to let you know that I too was very distorted, and I misused power. It was just like masculine, feminine things were not balanced in his lifetime to him. And what he's saying is that part of his afterlife purposes and missions, remember, we still exist in a more expanded way in our divinity after we pass out of the physical body. He says part of his purpose is to help the masculine and feminine balance safely and comfortably. Whereas in the past, most of the time, not always, men overpowered women, misused their power, treated them as lesser throughout many cultures and history times. And he says, including me. And he says he was overbearing and it had to be his way. And he did not always tell the truth. And so he's saying, I wanted to say this because to be the king of rock and roll for so many years, we do love his music. He is cute. He is important to us. We all know who he is. And he says there were pieces that were distorted in him when he was alive here on earth. He is rectifying, clearing, healing, cleansing, fixing those things in spirit that he held on to here. That could have been addictions. It could have been the main one that he's talking about, that is that he felt like entitled, or especially being a rock star, overbearing of women, like I own women. And he didn't always tell the truth. So he did love his wife. He did love his child. He did love his mother. He did love others, but he tainted it to his, it's almost like tilted it to his, whatever worked for him best at the time. Sometimes whatever's in front of us, he says, is easier to say or do. So he made promises that were not kept. And he says, many of you are on the receiving end of promises not kept. And he says, that's damaging. It's traumatizing. It's purposeful engineering of dark energy to run through us to hurt each other, traumatize us, to keep us from awakening. And he says, so I was not perfect. I was a good person. I was kind and honest in a lot of ways and generous. And of course, he had a life that most of us don't have, where we are surrounded by people. We have to be on time. We have to be in Las Vegas. We have to be in the movie. We have to be in the military. We've got all these different things. And he says the distortions in him were blaring and blatant, and sometimes he didn't treat others the way he would want to be treated. And he didn't understand what it would be like to be in someone else's shoes sometimes. And you get going, we've all felt this way, we've all been this way. And he says, I didn't tell the truth, didn't follow through with my promises. And he says, I just want you to know that I'm not here to say, oh, I was so terrible and you're terrible. But what we're doing by calling energies divine, masculine, and feminine is cleansing and clearing the distorted parts where we were out of balance or wonky. And he says those traumas in all of us, the losses and the betrayals and the traumas in all of us have harmed everybody. So if you lie to your spouse or you promise 16 people that you love them and you'll be there for them, and it's all just a game, a lie, those things are being reversed and reverted out of you who hold the light. And he's saying that is part of his afterlife mission. And he says some of you living are here to unplug some of those pieces of such distorted, dark pieces that it is your part of your life mission, and to stand up in integrity and be treated badly and called names and seen as lesser, even though you were the one that was holding honor and integrity. And he says that is the key. This light, it keeps going on and off when I say different things. So Elvis is saying to open up the trust of the cosmic heart in each one of us, where we're all connected, we are one. We have to be able to cleanse away the distorted pieces, the dark pieces in all of us, and our beliefs, our mindsets, our backgrounds, our cultures, our religions, or whatever it is that are false, and come together in this cosmic heart, which would be just some very basic laws of the universe and love. So he's saying it's part of his afterlife mission to become a speaker for the divine masculine and feminine, so that we treat each other better and we recognize the spark in ourselves. Our connection grows with God. And he said, I believed in God when I was alive, but I sort of sideswiped or some of the pieces, and I just got going and had some addiction pieces and things like that. And he says, I'm sorry. It wasn't always easy. And he says, each one of you, we could all point at if we want to study each one of us, we could all point at each other and say, oh, yep, they've got some dark pieces. If you were to do that, that would be extraordinarily bad judgment unless someone else is hurting another. And he says that seems to go right over everyone's head and they don't mind that. That's the normal. But as we look in the mirror and bring our sacred union in ourselves together, Elvis is saying that's part of his mission from spirit, from the ethers, to cleanse and scrub and help us cleanse and scrub as in our physical bodies, in our relationships, so that we clear away some of the most distorted pieces of history. And so the cosmic heart can become one again in a harmonious, unified, unity way. And he's saying, I'm not talking about New World Order, where everyone is under one order. We're talking about the collective consciousness being healed enough to hold the light and treat one another with respect and value and honor and truth. A lot of truth, only the truth. And he says, get this, in heaven you can tell who has lied in different ways, so they can't, like, dark beings can't fly up into the heavens. They're not scared that some demons are going to mess with them, in the closet like we have been here, because it can't exist there. And illness, sicknesses, lying, pain, misgivings, and sufferings of the past, crimes of the past, we know who did that, but they cannot repeat or replay. And they're learning how to become in balance, and they're connected to us. As we rise heaven on earth, we have to learn how to tell the truth and no longer judge each other. We can have discernment, but we no longer judge each other and do underhanded things and try to keep people from their destined paths and their destinies and things like that. And he says the betrayals and the dark, like lying to somebody, like if I lied to my sister and said, yes, I will be there and I will give you $100 if you give me $100 today. And then I never show up over and over. We've all done something like that, not on purpose. We've all fallen behind or not followed through on accident. He's talking about purposeful things, like the masks are coming off, and that opens up our cosmic heart. That opens up each one of our hearts. And he says, I just wanted to tell you that you can trust again. And many of you who have been abused, lied to, or are the manipulators, the narcissist, or whatever, they also have been stuck in an energy, a state of being that is distorted, masculine or feminine, either, or we all have pieces of it. So he's saying it's time to just let you know, I am not perfect. I never said I was perfect, but I wasn't always the most gentle, kind, loving person. And I did not always tell the truth. And I want to say, for you to get through the eye of the needle in your own awakening and ascension, it begins with you to look in the mirror and tell yourself the truth and make sure that the honest integrity, dignity, respect of others is being played out in every one of your choices. So he says, keep that in mind. And I just want you to feel with me right now, this frequency that he's in. So beautiful, so beautiful. He says, just feel it with me, because we're going to tune up and feel what it feels like to have integrity, dignity, respect, honor in places that we didn't know we were wounded or traumatized or had holes in our energy fields due to the history of humanity or whatever we've been through. And he says, as always, any human being can choose to be honest and truthful. And that's where friendships balance, and remember to be generous and stay out of others' energies while we are all on this journey in our own unique ways. And he says, be your true selves. Play your true song, not what everyone else tells you to play, not what everyone else tells you to choose. He's saying there's a lot of extraordinary control and misuses of power that people are peeling out of. It's been very, very traumatizing to them, you, me, us, up, down, below, everywhere, all over the planet. And we can see it in history, and we are climbing out of that so that it will not happen again for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, so that there can be a more harmonious, balanced reality and world for those to come. And guess what? It's going to affect the weathers, not misuses of weird technology that we're not always privy to knowing about that has harmed us badly. But he's talking about the dignity, respect, and light, that each spark of light of God that each one of us carry, and then it connects with the next one, your soul tribe, soul family, soul groups, that can help calm down the disruptions on so many layers, and especially on this earth, so that there's clean water, safe sunlight coming in, not too much, not too little, and so that it can balance out, so we can know what to expect and how to be plentiful in all places of the earth, all layers of the earth. And he says it starts with each one of us. And he says, I can't tell you what to do, but to hold that frequency or that state of being that you want to receive from the world is pertinent. And again, no more judgment. So I've got Mother Mary energy coming in too, saying, yes, children, you're so loved. It's faulty and false sometimes to point and judge at everybody else. So to tell your story, that's different. To discern, that's different. But to point and say they're ugly or they're not worth anything, those things will be corrected whether you like it or not. The cosmic heart is growing and being activated in new ways again. So new layers as the templates, many templates such as Atlantis, Lemuria, Garden of Eden, Avalon, Maldek. Those are my top ones. And then the rest of them just go out that I know about. And then there's thousands and thousands that need to be cleared, perhaps other consciousness layers and archetypes. So the archetypes would be the roles that each one of us play. We all play many roles. Some of the easy ones are the victim and the narcissist, the empath, the healer, the teacher, the king, the queen, the student, the many archetypes of roles, pieces of roles. And he's saying, clear those out. And we're all learning. We're all students. We're all kings and queens. We're all of these archetypes. We want to be the benevolent, loving ones, the wise ones. And every time we stand in our dignity and keep aligning, the wisdom and knowledge and truth and the divine will comes into us. We start knowing more and more and more. And we expand in the truth of the light of God. And when we forget, we tend to get a little distorted in each one of our roles that we're playing. So we've all been there. And he's saying, I just wanted to say I was not always good, and I wasn't always good to women. And he says that is very important right now in the templates and the archetypes being cleansed and cleared and realigned. Ether is connecting you through balanced divine masculine and feminine energy. That's your royal bloodline, whether it's physical density or in a big way, DNA beyond what our human minds can understand. And he says to get there and have that cosmic heart open up, your imperfect divine order and mind, body, spirit, soul beyond what humans can understand is to cleanse and clear and balance, recalibrate in wholeness, home, happiness, freedom, peace, love, and joy. So he says, I just want to remind you, we're tuning up. There's a billion ways to tune up every day and stay in that honesty and integrity, dignity and respect of others and yourself. And just know that if there's any energies, the Elvis energy or someone's asked me for Michael Jackson energy lately. And I always love Mother Mary. I always ask for help from Mother Mary. So just because it's that unconditional love and it feels like the mom hug that we all need sometimes, all of us. So he's saying you are welcome to ask for those frequencies, however you connect with source, the light, the molecular structure of the universe. You don't have to use the same words, but he's saying this is Elvis Presley and he says, be who you came here to be in your divine balance. Welcome home. We're tuning you up and you can keep asking God, source, creator, universe to help you tune up, uplift when you don't know how. And that will also work. And he says, listen, I'll send you some of my songs in the background in a movie or in the car, or when you get gas, how there's some music playing over there and there's in places sometimes. And he says, listen for the Elvis and you'll know that your connection with God is being tuned up. So thank you all so much. And he's saying, thank you. I love you all. And he's saying, I pray for you all of humanity to find their true soul tunes and purposes and missions and awaken in beautiful, loving, good ways and connect with your true loved ones, your soul tribe, soul families, your children, your grandchildren, your parents, your families and friends and loved ones in the best ways you know how. And many of you have divine counterparts that we've been working on that soul heart connection with as well. So we see more than your human eyes or understanding can know and see. But please know that you're on stage, and soon we will learn how to write the new scripts for the new earth and keep holding or visualizing, being in the state of being that you would like to be in. That is your frequency, your life experience. So he's saying that cosmic heart got you tuning up. So thank you very much. And he's stepping back and he's saying, I love you all. I pray for you all. And I honor you all and respect all of you. So he's saying, sing a little song. Thank you. Good night. We love you all. If you want a reading or anything like that, there's information in the box below. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Welcome home, everyone.